Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you to StudyIQ. A very good morning to all of you. The Hindu editorial analysis, the video is here and this is 20th January today, and we will start with our quote: success does not come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. I have always said consistency is the most important thing. If you do not have patience, you cannot maintain your consistency, and for consistency patience is needed, energy is also needed, motivation is also needed on a daily basis. When all these things will be working combinedly, then only your consistency is maintained and you achieve your success. And it's rarely that people can maintain their consistency in any big task. So that's the thing, that's why very less people are successful every year in this examination. Otherwise the syllabus and all these things are not that much complicated, but making this combination of various field, various types of information is a great challenge, because you need to maintain consistency and you need to be patient. That's the thing. The MCQs that I gave to you yesterday, collegium system, it's not a constitutional body. It started in 1990s, I think 1998, after the third judge's case, and that's why this option is also wrong. And they do not appoint judges on the district courts and all. High Court maintains that, and the judges for the Supreme Court and for the High Courts, their elevation, their recommendation is done by this collegium system. So that's why this is also wrong, and D none is the correct answer here. Next, regarding the Great Indian Bustard, as I told you, it's in great danger. Only 50 are left. Okay, and this bird is among the heaviest one, not lightest, okay, of the flying birds, and it is protected under Wildlife Protection Act under Schedule 1. That's perfectly correct. So only 2 is the correct answer here. Next, the articles that we missed on the day of Thursday, a lot of articles were there in this week, so that's why we had to leave some. Now we are going to discuss about the article. Now see, it is telling about the situation of Pakistan. That's a confusing one, and where instability is dominating the scene, and the reasons they are lying in the history of making of Pakistan. So it is talking about that. You see, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, main leader of Muslim League in the later times, and he was the main proponent who never compromised in the demand of creating a separate Pakistan. Okay, Islam was the strictly of instrumental value to them, because they used religion, this Islam, as an instrument at that time to join people and make them motivated towards this particular demand. It was used to mobilize Muslim opinion in British India to serve the political goals of the League. So it was mainly the political goals, those were the targets, and this was used as an instrument. You see, first parity with the Congress, that field, they tried to put Muslim League with Congress, but that could not happen because Congress was the biggest movement at that time. All the leaders, Gandhi, Patel, Nehru, Bose, all were associated with Congress only. So Muslim League could not compete with Congress in the context of public opinion. So after the creation of Muslim majority state, that was the Pakistan, and that was given by Britishers in the end. You see, the communal seats, they were sown by Britishers only. These people, these Britishers, they were reading, exploring, researching a lot about India at that time, and they found that India is divided on various grounds like caste, religion, regionalism, and language, and mainly the religion is the biggest issue. And because of the past, historical past, where Muslim rulers invaded India and they ruled India for a longer period of time, that's why the main groups of populations of Hindus and all, they had some kind of anguish towards the Muslim population at that time, and they actually appreciated that particular reason and the divide among the people of India, and they appreciated this communal divide, and they gave separate electorate in 1909. And at the same time, this Muslim League started in 1906, and this communalism that went on growing, and in the end, in 1940s, the demand for a separate Pakistan as a nation, that surfaced and that never stopped, and Pakistan was created on the religious grounds, but it was more a political ground, where religion was used as an instrument. Okay, and Jinnah was the leader, And after the creation of Muslim majority state, Islam became useful to them as a unifying myth. Why myth? Because they thought that religion would always dominate on people's mind, but that never happens, because people, they have other affinities also, like region, their history, their generations, and their motherland, and their affinity to their culture, their traditions, and all the past. So the mother country was India. So how could they go so away from there that they do not remember anything about India? So that affinity could never go away. And here this religion aspect, which Jinnah and other readers thought that it would prevail always in people's mind, in Pakistan's people's mind, that could not happen. At then that became a myth. Because you see what happened after that. After that, three important groups emerged in Pakistan, and which are going till date. Modernist Islam, when people became educated and they saw the world progressing, and they tried to inculcate some modernism in their traditional Islam. And the traditional Islam people who are maybe educated and mostly less educated, okay, they were the traditional followers of Islams and their rulings and the medieval times traditions and all. They were hard believer of those things. And third one was the radical groups, which wanted to create a Islamic state of Pakistan. Okay, so this tussle between all these groups, because their ways are different, their outlooks and their prospects are different. They want to maintain the status quo, they want more radicalization, and this modernist Islam, they want progress with the religion also. So you see there are schisms. Now after 80s, when this Afghanistan movement became very strong, and the Taliban rose, and Pakistan's radical groups, they supported the rise of Taliban. So at that time, these extremist groups, they became dominant, and still they are ruling some areas of northern areas of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and these networks, terror outfits are growing all the time in those areas, and they are never suppressed. And now they have political influence also. Okay, now see, for most of the population, it was a great confusion that which way to go. We should go towards a Sharia law based Islamic state of Pakistan, or should we move towards a modernist Islam? And most of the people, they have affinity with the progress. But the influence of these groups, of these extreme radicalized groups, that creates a trouble, and military supports that, and the power lies mainly in their hands and the military's hand. So it's a great confusion among the masses, because their progress is not happening. People are consistently crying for basic amenities and the progress, and they are demanding it from the government. Okay, government and the administration. And the people who are there in the government and the administration, they mainly follow modernist Islam. Okay, but actual power lies in the hands of these radical groups and the military. So that becomes a great confusion and a great dilemma and perennial instability in the country that's going on. And the reasons, they are there in the history, the way Pakistan was formed, because it was formed out of a kind of a illogical platform. Okay, so if we look at the past, the creation of Pakistan provided the traditionalist ulema, who are the religious leaders, with the opportunity to demand that the state should be turned into Islamic one. You see, they wanted Pakistan to be a hardliner country and a totally Islamic state-like country. Because if that Pakistan becomes like that, then these ulemas, these people, they will be dominating the scene. They will have all kinds of powers, and these modernist groups, they will be suppressed. Okay, and the Sharia law will prevail. But you see, that did not happen. And the dream of these ulemas to have a supervisory role, that could not become a total reality. It happened with but with a different format in these terror groups and the terror outfits. Okay, so the trouble is, still there are groups in Pakistan, and mainly the people of Pakistan, they have the quotient of this Hanafi school, which is also predominant among the Muslims of Indian subcontinent. Means they have affinity with the motherland and its ideology. If I tell you about the Deobandi movement and Barelvi and Al Hadith, these are mainly rooted in Indian Islam. Okay, and the Pakistan Islam, the people mainly who are there, who are traditional also, who are modernist also, they have inclination towards these movements, and their ideologies are similar and their ways are similar. So how can they go so away from this culture aspect, where cuisine, music and all other attributes they share with India? So with the mother country they cannot find a total separation. They can never find the total separation. Okay, so that's the trouble, and it makes it impossible for Pakistan to break away from its Indian roots. So this question will always remain. This writer is saying that this question would never go away, and because it's only a geographical separation and the countries are here only. It's not like that one country died and one is surviving. It's not like that. They will always remain here, and people will always remain here. So always these affinities, these cultural aspects, they will create situations like love-hate relationship. Love when you look towards these similarities, hate when you look towards the religious aspects and the radical aspects. And when these radical groups they will dominate, then it will create a hate relationship. So when these groups they feel insecure, then they try all kinds of ways. You see, they sent militants, people to kill Indian people, the way they said they sent these people like Kasab and all. Okay, so they try everything, but Pakistan is in perennial instability, and Pakistan has to evaluate this situation, otherwise Pakistan's future is in great danger. That is the message of this whole article. Okay, next article is regarding the coastal regulation zone, where confusion prevails, and it is saying that the new amendment is never going to help the coastal communities. It is actually death of the coasts, according to the writer. How you see, in 16 these coastal regulation zone laws they came, and it was a category of 1, 2 and 3, and highest protection was there in the category 1, where near the coast, if any kind of marine national park is there or indigenous communities are there, so nothing like residencies or real estate issues and the commercial activities, they were totally banned. Okay, it was not allowed. But now the notification that allows some of them, and by this allowance it creates a great trouble. It negates the coastal space. You see, coastal space, if you talk about the history about these coastal communities, they are the happiest communities, and they are here for thousands of years, and they catch these fishes and all, and they remain happy. Those were the great communities. And when Britishers came, when they look at the condition of Goa and this Malabar coast, Coromandel coast, they found these places to be very scenic and very beautiful and heavenly. But you see what happened today. If we look at Goa today, in the name of progress, what happened? Goa is totally dominated and in a way ruined by these progressive activities. You see sludge, sewage and uncontrolled tourist activities. Whatever you don't see. You see the casinos there, you see crowds there, and the beaches are not peaceful, and the dominance of these elite class who have created all these hotels and all. Okay, so they have anyhow displaced these coastal communities, these indigenous people, and their existence is in trouble already because of this unplanned urbanization and these uncontrolled human activities and these disturbances. They have created havoc on these communities. Okay, so now these kind of rules, they open up this niche space. Niche means so specific space where these conditions are so specific geographically, climate wise. These are unique places. These are opened to the mindless real estate development, mass scale tourism and industry. You see, tourism is allowed, but tourism should be sustainable. That is the main idea. That should be climate friendly, and they should be supportive to the indigenous communities and these marine species. But that doesn't happen in India. In India's case, too much of corruption is the reality, and anyhow they can manage, and the nexus between political groups, and there is a lack of political pressure from these fishermen communities because they are less in number. Okay, so they cannot create that much political pressure on the political parties, so that's why they are totally ignored, and these people, they are dominating the scene, and that's why these kind of amendments, they have appeared again. Now see, land grabbing is the very common norm there, and always these successive governments, whichever government that comes, that wants to create an impression that India's coastline is vast and it's an empty space. So indirectly they want to say that there is enough space for the indigenous communities, they should not be troubled, and these kind of real estate activities and all, they can be allowed. Okay, so that's the thing, that's a impression they want to create, but that's not a reality. Okay, you see, these fishing communities, they are already self-reliant communities, there is not much support in the form of subsidies or something like that to these people from the government. Okay, so they are self-reliant, they are self-employed, but now with this notification, the writer is saying that the government, who has performed dismally on its promise of employment generation, at least they should not take these people's jobs who are self-reliant and self-employed people, and by these notification you are bringing a mess, a chaos to their lives. Okay, and because they lack the effective political representation, that's why you are ignoring them, and fisher people are not a vote bank, so you need to take care of these communities also. You see, always these forest communities and the local communities, indigenous communities, tribes, they always want their rights. It's a great problem for the government also to manage their conditions, but you see, it's not in favor to these indigenous communities, it's not in favor to marine species, it's not in favor to climate change issue, and it is going to be a devastation in the near future if these kind of rulings, they are continued. Okay, so that's why they need to take a heed here, and already these beaches are convenient dumping grounds, and sewage, garbage, sludge, that's all you see on most of the beaches of India, if these are not managed by some private groups and some elite groups. Otherwise, these are the troubles. Now the new amendment legalized the setting up of common effluent treatment plants, CETPs, which are involved with the purifying of these sludges, waste, and the dirty water. So wherever these CETPs are established, this area becomes so smelly, so dirty, and nobody can live there. So for these indigenous communities, it becomes a nightmare. Okay, so that's why it's a trouble, and the law now makes the coast legitimate receptacles of all waste. So anyhow, in all the conditions, these communities are going to suffer a lot. Already due to the climate change, a lot of events are turning negative to these people, like cyclone Okchi that created havoc on west coast. Normally on the west coast, these cyclones, they don't come, they come on the eastern coasts, the coast of Odisha, Bengal and all, and Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. But this time it was a different event due to the climate change issue, and we have seen mass migrations from the coastal areas like Odisha and Sundarban in West Bengal. So they are moving, and where they would go now, again the issue would come that where they should be settled, because they are traditionally living in the coastal areas, and now already the conservative issues are going on that no state would allow the outsiders. So where these people would go, but they had to leave the place because it's turning totally negative to these people and they are not earning anything. So this top down policy of central government, where it is decided on the top and it is propagated towards the lower levels, they should adjust. Okay, this contradict the grassroots and scientific wisdom. Otherwise the solution lies in the bottom up approach, where you need to consider the ground level issues, and out of this understanding you should propagate these rulings to the upper levels of the government. But the just opposite is happening here. The top down policy is going on, wherein most of the ministries and departments, this top down policy is being replaced with the bottom up approach, but still the continuity is maintained in the top down policy. And now you are risking a lot of lives. You see, National Fisher Work Forum is there, and that understands all the situations. They are experts of these conditions of fishermen's lives and all, so they have given a lot of recommendations. But instead of using the NFF's knowledge, which is demanding a separate fisheries ministry, because these issues are unaddressed, So they demand fisheries ministry separately, but that is not done. And notification now exposes more people to the unassessed impacts. Means they don't know what kind of impact would be there in the future for these people. So you are exposing these people to unknown dangers, and coastal areas are already very much sensitive, and climate change issues, marine species issues and all, they all would suffer. So climate change is also a dire need. Apart from the progress, we need to take care of this. This world is going just backwards. Now some news. Think incremental innovation. What is incremental innovation? Means innovation is going to help in the health sector. This science and technology based issue is relatable to the health issue of India, where by 2020 year, non-communicable disease like cancer, diabetes, stroke, cardiovascular diseases and all, okay, these diseases will be the cause of 73% of all the deaths in country. You see how dangerous is this? And these all are very scary disease. You see, somebody takes a name of cancer, then we are shivering that cancer has somebody is having cancer. So it's a very scary issue. And you see, India is having a burden of 50% of the global burden of diabetes patients. You see this scary situation that is in front of us, and how much we are caring about this situation, how much we are debating this issue, that's a trouble. And second number is of the cancer, where maximum number of patients would be there in India after some time. India would be a capital of diabetic and cancer patients, and already we are a capital of cardiovascular patients, because our diet is not healthy. We consume salt, sugars a lot. Already we use them a lot. But earlier we used to be a working and a hard working nation where physical activities were a norm. But today the situations are totally changed, and these diets are becoming the actual dangers to our lifestyle. So evidently we need more than just policies to counter the disease burden. And what do we need? We need incremental innovation, the R&D, research and development, that is going to help. And in all the areas, in all the health issues, we need researches, we need solutions, and there we need to invest a lot. We need to invest. That's the issue. So that's about the incremental innovation. Next, loading up on fiber. One more article on the issue of health. It is scientifically proved that your diet should contain 50% amount of fiber containing foods like vegetables, fruits, and these roughest having foods. Okay, you see banana, apple and papaya and all these vegetables and all. Okay, so they should be included, and it's proved that the people who eat them in their daily diet, they are having less chances of NCDs, non-communicable disease, the same disease that we discussed. Okay, so these changing dietary habits for us, now we are more consuming unhealthy diets which are heavy in salt, fat and sugar. Okay, so these dietary habits are creating a havoc on India's health, and our sedentary work lifestyle means we are becoming more and more lazy. We are walking very less. We are more, we are talking sitting at one place. So these kind of lifestyles, they are very dangerous. So we need to follow the healthy diet first, and we need to work more and more. A person should get around 60-50% energy from the carbohydrates, and around 25 to 30% energy from fats and oils, and trans fats should not be there. Okay, and 10 to 15% energy from the protein diet we should take. That's the healthy diet format. But how many people are following this? That's a trouble. You see, you must have heard about the hidden hunger issue. What is hidden hunger? When we eat food, but that food does not contain vitamins and these antioxidants and fibers. So if the food is lacking in all these things, then the food is not sufficient for our health, and that creates hidden hunger. Means our stomachs are full, but still we need nutrition. We are out of nutrition, and that's why the hidden hunger issue is really a cause of concern for us. Next information is regarding the swine flu. You see, it happens because of H1N1 virus. Avian flu is H5N1 virus. It is swine flu, and you see there are A, B, and C types. C types are the most dangerous ones, where immediate admission to the hospital is needed. Okay, and there is no cure. Okay, because it's a viral disease, and most of these viral disease, they don't have any cure. Prevention is the key. So we should avoid crowded places when it's a season, and sleep and rest, all these do's and don'ts are there. But main thing is H1N1 virus, and it was not a disease of humans. In 2009, first in Mexico, it was found that humans are infected with this virus. It used to be a virus of swines. Okay, but it was seen in humans, and after that it is spreading every year. It has become a norm, the way dengue, chikungunya are a norm in the month of October, November. Now in the winters, the swine flu is the main cause of death for some people every year. Next are the two viral disease, measles and rubella. Our kids, they are getting MMR vaccine. For every kid, these vaccines are given. So these are vaccines for viral diseases like measles and rubella and mumps also. So one vaccine is given, and these are vaccine prevented diseases. Vaccine works very efficiently with these diseases. But why these were in news? The case in Delhi that the government, they did not take permission of the parents. It was not communicated to the parents that we are actually giving these vaccines to kids, school kids and all. So that's why it appeared in news. And important is that measles is a very infectious disease. Okay, and intensity is very severe, and it is caused by rubella virus, rubella. Okay, and rubella is called German measles, called and caused by rubella virus only. Okay, so rubella and rubella, remember the difference here. And both these diseases, they don't have any cure. If that happens, automatically by the immunity of the body, that the condition improves. Okay, otherwise these vaccines are the only solution, only prevention, not solution. So that's the thing. Now MCQs I will provide tomorrow. Today is Sunday, so thanks a lot, keep watching. And that's my ID, Facebook ID, where you will get the PDFs and all, and you can join my group, Amit Saini group for IAS preparation, and keep walking. That's the key. Thanks a lot, keep watching. It was Amit Saini.